next stimulus around the world can push investors into alternative assets from the fiats, as the talks about a hyperinflation is getting grounds as governments print more money. Central banks are working so hard to push in liquidity. This is going to gain more grounds. And as the pandemic is destroying the economy at one side, the retailers now needs cheap and instantaneous payments. So Visa, MasterCard, American Express and others may need to jump into new technology, which is DLT, to give that to their customers. And it clearly shows new technology is changing everything in the financial markets, and it's really important to understand that. Now, if you look at the interoperability layer of rich messaging ISO 20022, you can actually see that Japan, China, India, the countries mainly in the Asia, especially in the Far East Asia and the Mid Asia, you can see this, that they are kind of already jumping into that ship. And if you look at the company Ripple and where they are targeting primarily, then you will understand why they are much focusing on the emerging markets. So as we talk about that, you need to understand it is increasingly interesting that what we talked about Ripple the company and XRP the asset, all the viewpoints which I shared here in the Scientific Investor channel from last 3 to 6 months is practically coming true. Now that really means there are something which we need to focus. Why? Because if it is coming true, then as an investor, you are on the right investment vehicle. But the time frame needs to be understood, and that takes us to this one. So let's dive into this. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. If you saw value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. Now, we will actually dig through all of this, and if you like the research presented here, then please do extend your support using PayPal, Patreon or the XRP wallet address given in the description below. Now, yes, let's jump into all of this and try to understand what it really means to us.
With anybody who's connected to the internet, and that's a good thing for stablecoins. And then ultimately, really, Chris, I think the real use case of crypto is in a world of increasing integration and increasing globalization. It really makes no sense to think that anyone across borders who wants to transact with each other has to pay a foreign exchange fee to change yen into dollars, let's just say, and then also to pay a money transmitter for the act of hitting the send button and sending that money across a proprietary platform. Imagine if there was a single token that was recognized on both sides of that divide. And when you received it, you could cash it out into your local currency. And when I received it, I could cash it out into my local currency without the need to change it, right? Those kinds of things occupy so many trillions of dollars of friction in the system that it's, when people say there's no killer app to crypto, I sort of think, no. The killer app of crypto is the simplest application, which is avoiding frictions. That's what it's all about, much as the internet did for sending information. With anybody who's connected to the internet, and that's a good thing for stablecoins. And then ultimately, really, Chris, I think the real use case of crypto is in a world of increasing integration and increasing globalization. It really makes no sense to think that anyone across borders who wants to transact with each other has to.
So first, he was talking about cross-border transaction, and second, are you seeing something fishy? Is he talking about, just providing a new token, new coin, which is not currently in the market? Use that from one country to another, and you don't use that swapping or bridging. Now, look back at Ripple executives, or at least say Brad's and David Shaw's statement, which they have made many times in many interviews and stage programs. They highlighted that when XRP is being used for cross-border payments, it may not be clearly visible that this digital asset is used, but what the customer may experience is an instantaneous transfer with 0 to near zero cost. So when you look at it, this can be something happening in the background. Why? The aim of Ripple is still in their website. If you go to Ripple Insights, you can still see they are talking about creating XRP as a global reserve currency. Now, what does that mean? It doesn't mean that it's going to take away dollar, yen and all. It just means the dollar, while it is traveling towards yen, may use XRP as a vehicle currency just to start that traveling from US to Japan. And that really means instantaneous transfer with near zero cost, right? And that, when you look at it from a regulator's point of view, it is the single neutral token which can actually do that. Even if you are looking at different aspects of cross-border payments, we know that the market is huge. $77 trillion is kind of what SWIFT processes each year. So if we consider different payment networks like XRPs, XRP Ledger, then Stellar, XDC, Quant and others, what you will understand is majority are working towards getting their fair share in this economy. But Ripple has positioned XRP Ledger, RippleNet and Interledger protocol towards making it a reserve asset for the globe. Why? Because if 40 to 50 central banks are working with them to make this a reality, then automatically their allies, their followers, the other nations which rely on these nations, say import-export relationship and all, they would automatically jump into that only because of the network effect. And as we speak about the network effect, now we are looking at UK, right? We understand that they're coming out with proper regulatory clarity. Now this document kind of highlights that CFTC and Bank of England, they are working together for cross-border clearing organizations. Is that important to us? Yes, because UK is coming out of the EU. Now the Brexit, it can be hard Brexit as we see in the news, and the chances that they are working together for cross-border clearing organizations, and at the same time you are watching IMF, BIS, World Bank, you and everyone talking about moving into a digitized manner for cross-border payments is really important, because if Brexit is completed and it really kicks out new waves in the market, and then UK is trying to attract more investments using clear regulatory perspective, automatically US and others will have to do something similar. Otherwise, investment will flow into that particular market where it has that clarity, because investors don't want uncertainty. At least they're not interested in putting more money when the market is still uncertain with regulators. So while you look at this one, you can understand this kind of supersedes a 2009 agreement and follows a 2019 joint statement. Wow. So as we are looking at the Brexit, they are talking about it post-Brexit. So once that is completed, this is going to be clear. And it really looks like Johnson is taking UK hard way, and as a sovereign nation, it's completely up to their people. They chose Brexit. I was there back in that time while the voting was happening, and the majority chose that. So it's how it works. So if that really happens, the market will actually change, and the UK will try to pose London as a financial hub of the world. Now yes, it is currently a financial hub, but will it be in the new financial system? That is a question raised by many. Let's say Hong Kong, Singapore, in UK, the London, New York. Everyone is trying to research into this one. But without proper regulatory clarity, it is really hard to do so. And that is why they are now kind of tying up with different institutions. So when all of this is happening, what are we really looking at for XRP? And at that time, we kind of get to see this one, which really looks positive, but is it really positive? That is one of the questions which you can ask yourself. When you read through documents like this, it kind of shows you, the technical aspects and all, and it kind of gives you that way we are right now, at least a bit of idea about that. Looking at the support, trend line support, resistance, horizontal support, resistance, and different indicators. But yes, if you look at how things are moving on a longer time frame, yes, it does look like whales are loading up, and that means the accumulation phase is still going on. If you look at this particular asset, which has retraced more than 95% from its all-time highs and making a rounded bottom following a same trend line resistance. Now, within that pattern, it is creating pattern inside patterns. That has to be understood. But if you remember, some days back, we highlighted that there is going to be a cross to the downside in MACD on a daily chart and weekly chart at the same time. And yes, we corrected a little bit, right? Now that we found that support back here in that trend line support, and the price is moving, kind of consolidating, getting a push up and retesting that support resistance area, you are now looking at the RSI and MACD kind of getting a pump to the upside again. MACD is showing that it may cross to the upside on a daily, getting into that positive area again. It was in the positive area. It came from that negative zone. If you see that, it got a bit of resistance at that entrance of the positive area. Now it's kind of showing that yeah, I'm going to go back into that positive area. That can push the price really up towards the 0.31, 0.32 mark. And that's why I would like to say this kind of looks clear. This analyst perspective or viewpoint, for me, it looks like, yeah, it is based on the technical indicators. And for me, I can validate that while looking at my indicators and the way I do technical analysis. Now, the same on a shorter time frame. See, this is a 2-hour chart of XRP. And if I look at this one, and as I explained last time, we are moving like pattern to pattern. So as far as we are maintaining this particular level, maintaining this trend line, we may move towards the smaller time. In the smaller time frame, we may move towards 0.25. And that move, if we are getting a break, then yes, we may point towards 0.27. So that's on a shorter time frame, right? So if you zoom in and look at it, you can see that the RSI is still below 50, and that means there is base still alive in the market. So you have to actually see the strength, how it is reflecting, because in the overall crypto market, if you are looking now, it's kind of red in the last 24 hours. So, if you are an investor who is looking to invest, then you should be looking at long-term perspectives. Which coin did well, which coin hasn't. And by that, I mean the price, not the value. And for value, I mean the real fundamental of that asset. Then look at XRP. It's negative 16% in last 1 year. But if you actually look at the real market of XRP, say you can use either a daily chart, weekly chart, monthly chart, any chart in which you can see the last market cycle, you can understand that the impulsive move to the upside back in 2017 towards 2018 pushed the price way up. But from there, the price has been depreciating from all the time. Now, why is that? That is because the market cycle always work in that manner. If you don't understand that, that's how markets work. If you look at Bitcoin's chart, Ethereum, or any other asset, say you go into silver, gold, put that into a log scale chart, then you will understand what I'm clearly talking about. What you would like to do, or you should do as an investor, in my perspective, is you should look for corrective moves to enter into the market so that you can catch up before the impulsive move starts. And whenever a corrective move happens, what really happens is the price moves within parallel lines. This is what happens when the price is in a corrective phase. Now, that's not what I'm stating. If you go to different investment books, investment guides, technical analysis, to understand the language of technical analysis, you will get this perspective that yes, we are in the corrective phase, and what we are waiting for is an impulsive move like this. And it may not be 140,000%. It may not be 70,000%. We don't know. But if you look at the past, what pushed the price to this kind of upside, and look at the fundamentals right now, it's way stronger than that time. Say from 2014 to 17, if you saw like 100 partnerships, different pilot programs with central banks and all, and the price moved like this, then what you are having here from 2018 to 2020 and as of now is way much more than that. So that can actually bring in the impulsive move even higher than that one. So I kind of look at a long-term perspective, not in a shorter time frame perspective like 3 months and all, but on a shorter time frame. When you are looking at this one, you kind of get to see, yes, the analysts are also talking about move to the upside, considering different resistance, support and all. Now, why are these talks really necessary? Because as we highlighted from Brian here, we are moving towards an area where we need that interoperability layer, standard and all. If you remember in yesterday's video and from last 3 months, we've been talking about this. Now, shout out to Panos for putting this out. And if you read that one and listen to our yesterday's video, majority of the factors or the key parameters are explained well enough, I think, in yesterday's video too. Why? Card networks, fintechs and infrastructure providers such as Ripple and Earthport. Now, do remember the infrastructure provider is important one day, because if you look at fintech, say from South Korea, you can see a fintech named CentB, which is a partner of Ripple, providing cross-border transactions. Now, they are gaining a fair share of the market because they provide instant transfer at near zero cost compared to the bank transfers, right? Why they are able to do that? Because now they work on the infrastructure provided by Ripple. So that really means that the financial system has started to change or evolve, right? So if you look at the card networks, fintechs and infrastructure providers, all will have to jump into one infrastructure. Why? Because as we see, the ISO standard is being kicking out in different areas. Others can't deny the fact that this will happen. They can only try to delay this, like the SWIFT actually is doing that. They're kind of delaying this, right? But they can't do that forever. The market will actually take what it needs. And that is what you can see from this article. It shows investors are much interested in crypto than majority of us thought, because they are now keeping it similar to that of gold. Now think, millennials is kind of going more into digital assets, but now you can even see baby boomers, some of them, getting interested and understanding the fundamentals and value of this asset class. They are also moving a part of their portfolio into this asset. Now, once that is happening, say the network effect within that will happen. For example, say now I'm putting some money into it. I understand the fundamental of that, and I share my perspective and what I find interesting to you guys. Similarly, I do the same with my friends, relatives and all. So if one of them, say I do the same for 100 individuals, and one of them starts to put their money a little bit into this asset class, the same may happen. The network effect will come in, but it will increase when the price starts to move to the upside. So what's happened in 2017 was something similar. The price skyrocketed and everyone was like, you see, I got this much profit. I told you to do so, but you didn't. And that kind of gets, I should have done that, right? So that is where we are all headed. Once the price go to that kind of sky high, those who hold strong to this asset in the last 3 years during this bearish market will be reaping their gratification when others say, God, I should have done that. I should have listened to him. That moment is not that far from now. Now this one shows, now that really is the talk about the regulatory clarity, providing the clear playing field, level playing field. But for me, I would say that, say, in terms of use case, now majority of them in the financial market understand the use case of Ripple and XRP. Even we saw that inside the Congress, right? So US was really into that. They all understand the efforts of Ripple and XRP, the asset, but they won't let the common man take the advantage before the price pumps. They want to talk the market down, push the investors out and accumulate as much as possible. Because when you see the market react like this towards this asset class, you should be thinking, wow, why is this really happening? Digital currencies, global currencies, the talk is being happening in BIS, IMF and everywhere. If you come into this website which is from Bank of International Settlement, and come to central bank's speech, then you kind of get to see this one. Now I'll actually put all of these links in the description, so if you want to read through that, you can. Now when we say that these kind of setup has to change, like say the retailers are kind of looking at Visa and MasterCard saying no, we can't pay the fee which you ask, we need something better in this age, right? We are in 21st century 2020 with more and more technology, and they are asking, use that technology, provide that benefit to us. So that is what we are seeing in the practical side. It is being implemented, right? So we just actually went through that, so I won't actually jump into that. Instead, we'll actually look at this one, anticipation for a surge 2.3. Now this now is kind of similar perspective from different analysts showing towards XRP, and that kind of creates an idea that yes, the chances for XRP moving towards that level 0.3 is not that far. Now this is a document which I would actually like to show you guys, because this thesis from that guy actually goes much further. It kind of talks about different aspects within the blockchain technology and current financial structure in banking. So whatever we talked, he kind of summarizes that. If you would like to read through that, it will give you more citations, a reference to different articles, which will give you more reading and the ability to understand how this market has changed. Now, when you talk about that 0.3, looking at the chart, yes, that means we would move towards this particular resistance, and when we move towards that particular resistance, you should be able to understand that that would complete an entire move of the rounded bottom or the cup and handle pattern which we were talking about here. If we move towards that area 0.3, then that pattern is completed, the cup and handle or the rounded bottom. Then we may expect a breakout towards 0.5, then 0.6, 0.7, where we have overhead resistance. So you just have to be prepared mentally. Why? Because when the price moves, say your average is 0.2, the price reaches 0.4, you're 100% in profit. If it reaches 0.6, you're 200% in profit. So it should not tempt you to take your entire profits and run, because the market has been so worse, the bears kind of kick you out. No, the bears are becoming tired and the bulls are just getting started. So if you want to reap the profit, you should wait patiently. I hope you guys actually received value for your time, and if you did, please do support the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. If you would like to extend your support, you can use PayPal, Patreon or XRP wallet address given in the description below. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.